Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Bend County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers, viewers, and listeners advisory video cast. Enjoy. Library Connections number 43, hosted by SSCL librarian Linda Reimer. This is the Friday, February 26th, 2021 edition of Library Connections. And just an alert, Library Connections will be skipping a week. Next week I'm taking a couple of vacation days, so the next Library Connections video will be available in 2 weeks, on Friday, March 12th, 2021. And kicking things off with the top 5 fiction bestsellers for this week from the New York Times. At number 1, A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, the 5th book in A Court of Thorn and Roses series. Nesta Archeron is forced into close quarters with a warrior named Cassian. At number 2, The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. As dust storms roll during the Great Depression, Elsa must choose between saving the family and farm or heading west. At number 3, Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. A friendship between two women in the Pacific Northwest endures for more than 3 decades. And wow, 2 books in the top 5. Go Kristen Hanna. At number 4, Relentless by Mark Greaney, the 10th book in the Gray Man series. Assassins go after Court Gentry as he attempts to bring back an American agent who went missing. And at number 5, The Duke and I by Julia Quinn, the 1st book in the Bridgerton series. Daphne Bridgerton's reputation soars when she colludes with the Duke of Hastings, the basis of the Netflix series Bridgerton. And moving along to the top 5 nonfiction bestsellers for this week. And I should preface this by saying that this is actually the last part of the Library Connections video that I do, the New York Times bestsellers. And that's because, as you may know, the new lists come out on Thursday. So the number 1 nonfiction bestseller for this week is also one of my suggested reads. I had no idea that it was going to be number 1 on the nonfiction bestseller list when I recorded the recommended reads section, but it's a good book to check out, and without further ado, it is How to Avoid a Climate Disaster by Bill Gates. A prescription for what business, governments, and individuals can do to work towards zero emissions. At number 2, Just As I Am by Cicely Tyson with Michelle Bruford. The late iconic actress describes how she worked to change perceptions of Black women through her career choices. At number 3, Walk in My Combat Boots by James Patterson and Matt Eversman with Chris Mooney. A collection of interviews with troops who fought overseas. At number 4, The Sum of Us by Heather McGee. The chair of the board of the racial justice organization Color of Change analyzes the impact of racism on the economy. And at number 5, Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. The Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist examines aspects of caste systems across civilizations and reveals a rigid hierarchy in America today. Our first recommended read of the week is nonfiction. It's titled The Doctor's Blackwell: How Two Pioneering Sisters Brought Medicine to Women and Women to Medicine written by Janice P. Numora. Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman to earn a medical degree in the U.S., is a recognized pioneer, but her fight to complete her training and establish her career was part of a group effort. Elizabeth worked alongside another Dr. Blackwell, her younger sister Emily, and other women who sought admission to the medical profession in the US, the UK, and France. Award-winning author Numora brings their world vividly to life in this portrait of the sisters and their professional partnership, which culminated in the establishment of a New York City clinic and, in 1869, a women's medical school. Numora deftly reveals the differences between their experiences and ours through explorations of the theories, practices, and controversies of mid-19th century medicine. The Blackwells' ambiguous relationship with the women's rights and women's education movements, and the niche that they, and other women, found as practitioners for the poor, benefiting from the willingness of the wealthy to consign charity care to the women doctors who they themselves would not patronize. With the fiercely intelligent, prickly sisters at the center, Numora's engrossing and enlightening group bio is highly recommended. And that's the Starred Library Journal review. Our second recommended read for this week is fiction. It's called The Sanitarium, a novel by Sarah Pierce. Pierce's engrossing debut boasts a highly atmospheric setting, La Sommette. Originally a sanitarium for tuberculosis patients in the Swiss Alps. The building was abandoned for decades before it was renovated as a luxury hotel. British police detective Ellen Warner and her boyfriend Willie Riley come to La Sommette at the invitation of her selfish brother Isaac and his fiancée Laurie Strahl to celebrate the latter couple's engagement. The emotionally fragile Ellen is on break from her job following an intense case and the death of her mother, whose funeral Isaac was too busy to attend. When Laurie goes missing, the day after Ellen and Willie's arrival, Ellen learns that others too have disappeared from La Sommette, long shrouded in sinister rumors about its patients' brutal treatment. Might Isaac, who she blames for the decades-old death of their brother, somehow be involved? The discovery of a body raises the stakes. Readers will applaud as Ellen, for all her anxieties, emerges as a competent sleuth. This dark tale of family dynamics is sure to please suspense fans. And that's the Publisher's Weekly Review. Our first audiobook recommendation for this week is nonfiction. It's called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster: The Solutions We Have and the Breakthroughs We Need, written by Bill Gates and read by Will Wheaton and Bill Gates. Gates, Microsoft co-founder turned philanthropist, is optimistic in this cognate guide to avoiding the worst effects of climate change. Gates's goal is to get from the 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases added to the atmosphere annually to zero. This is possible, he writes, by making use of existing technologies and developing new ones to remove emissions. Transportation's zero carbon future for example, will mean using electricity to run all the vehicles we can and getting cheap alternative fuels for the rest. Such alternatives include electrofuels, which he notes researchers are developing. Gates rounds out his advice with steps for governments and individuals. He encourages citizens to make calls, write letters, and attend town halls. While Congress should financially incentivize green policies, and state governments can test policies like carbon pricing before they're implemented countrywide. Readers will enjoy Gates's sometimes breezy tone, and while his scientific solutions are never fringe, not all of his ideas strike as politically feasible. Nonetheless, those looking for an accessible review of how global warming can be countered will find this a handy and maybe even hope-inspiring guide. And that is the Publisher's Weekly Review. Our second audiobook recommendation for this week is a historical fiction title. It's called The Nature of Fragile Things, written by Susan Meisner and read by Alana Kerr Collins. On November 6, 1906, in San Francisco, Sophie Wayland Hocking sits to answer a surprising set of questions posed by a U.S. Marshal. There are questions about her husband Martin Hocking and her stepdaughter Kat, and how she came to be part of their family. Sophie emigrated from Ireland to New York City, but had a difficult time after her brother married and moved away. She answered Martin's advertisement seeking a wife and stepmother for his daughter. Seeking stability and longing for motherhood, Sophie traveled to California and married Martin. 6 weeks after the catastrophic earthquake, Martin is nowhere to be found, and Sophie faces unanswerable questions. Just before the earthquake hit, a pregnant stranger appeared on her doorstep looking for Martin and calling him by another name. Soon after, Sophie unraveled a series of secrets set to rival the earthquake in magnitude. Verdict: vividly rendered in the chaos and mass destruction of the historic earthquake, Meisner's latest is a testament to the strength and solidarity of women in crisis. And that's the Library Journal Review. Our first streaming recommendation for this week is the movie Antebellum. Came out in 2020 and it's available through Hulu. Veronica Henley is a successful author finishing a book tour before heading home to her husband and daughter. But in a shocking turn of events, Veronica is plunged back in time into a horrifying alternate reality where she is Eden, a slave trapped on a plantation and under the brutal watch of Confederate soldiers. Alternating between the grotesque and the cerebral, while remaining consistently provocative, this thriller will keep you on the edge of your seat. And that is the Digital Trends Review. Our second streaming recommendation for this week is the film Nomad Land. It's available through Hulu. An early Oscar favorite for 2021, Chloe Zhao's Nomad Land is a strangely familiar, yet original, revisiting of the 2008 financial crisis. The film centers on Fern, a woman who loses everything during the recession and decides to set off on a journey across the American West. her Grapes of Wrath-esque journey becomes one of both rebirth and poignant directionlessness, where the reward truly isn't the destination, but the journey itself. And that is also the Digital Trends review. Our third streaming recommendation for this week is the film Shutter Island, which first came out in 2010, and it's available through Netflix. Shutter Island is one of legendary director Martin Scorsese's most psychologically thrilling films. A brilliant murderess has escaped Ashcliff Hospital, a fortress-like insane asylum located on a remote New England island. Her escape brings U.S. Marshal Teddy Daniels and his new partner to the island to investigate how she seems to have vanished from a locked room. But there are hints of horrors all over the hospital walls, and as the investigation deepens, Teddy is forced to confront his own psychological traumas. There is a twist, and boy, is it a doozy. So if you're looking for a suspenseful film, check out Shutter Island. And this week I have a fourth and bonus streaming recommendation. It's the TV series Seaside Hotel, available through PBS Passport, and it is a Danish TV series. Planned to run for 5 seasons, Seaside Hotel is a Downton Abbey-style show that mixes romance, tragedy, and comedy as it follows the lives of the affluent and serving classes from 1928 through to 1932. From the giddy heights of the Jazz Age to the depths of the Great Depression, the personal lives of staff and tourists are transformed by events far beyond Denmark's borders. The series opens in the summer of 1928, when Europe was still healing after the trauma of World War I. Within a year, the world would face a financial crisis that paved the way for a second global conflict. In the first season, a group of holiday makers descend on a northern coastal resort, seemingly intoxicated by misguided beliefs in a future free of conflict. Oblivious to the forces that would soon change their lives, the wealthy patrons of this resort celebrate their holidays with reckless abandon. And the TV series has Danish dialogue with English subtitles. So for our Hoopla recommendation for this week, I thought it was time to recommend a comedy. Seems like we could all use a laugh right about now. So I'm going to recommend the film Blazing Saddles, originally released in 1974. Ribald, tasteless, and hilarious, this classic spoof of the Western genre by director Mel Brooks pokes fun at everyone and everything. A corrupt governor grants a reprieve to an African-American convict if the condemned man agrees to serve as sheriff of a small western town, believing that the new sheriff will only live long enough to serve the needs of the governor and his nefarious railroad baron backer. Academy Award nominations for Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Madeline Kahn, Best Music, Original Song, and Best Film Editing. So if you'd like to suspend disbelief for about an hour and a half, check out Blazing Saddles. And if you've seen it before, it might be time to watch it again. And moving on to our Odd Duck recommendation of the week. And this week I'm going to recommend that you check out some magazines. More specifically, I'm going to recommend that you check out some digital magazines. And there's a really good reason for that. And that reason is that digital magazines have come to the digital catalog. More than 3,000 titles are now available for instant checkout, either through the digital catalog online, found at stls.overdrive.com, or through the Libby or Overdrive apps. And you see on the left side of your screen a picture of the online digital catalog, and on the right side you see a screenshot of the Libby app showing the magazines, some of them. As I said, there's more than 3,000 of them. Some of them are also in different languages, so if you speak Spanish or French or Chinese, different dialects of Chinese, I'm not sure which dialect of Chinese the magazines are in, but I do know that there are some, you can find those too. So my recommendation is to check out the digital magazines that are available on demand, aka for instant checkout. And if you're wondering if these are related to the RB Digital app, you'd be correct. The RB Digital company has merged with the Overdrive/Rakuten company, and the latter there, those are the people that provide the platform for the digital catalog and the Libby and Overdrive apps. So longer story short, it's all one company now. So check out the digital magazines through the digital catalog online or the Libby or Overdrive apps on your mobile device. Have questions about this weekly videocast? Let me know. Send an email to me at reimerl@stls.org and I'll get back to you. That's reimerl@stls.org. Of course, you can also call the library. Currently, library hours are Mondays and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we are closed to the public on Wednesdays and Sundays. And that is the end of the new Library Connections content for this week. What follows are a few helpful informational tidbits. The tidbits include directions as to where you can connect with the library online via our website, catalogs, blogs, and social media pages. Links to articles used to create this week's video, otherwise known as references, and the library's contact information. The library's website is found at ssclibrary.org, and through our website you can find out a whole host of information about the library. If you click on the calendar link, you'll find about upcoming programs. Most of them are virtual, but we have a bunch of stuff coming up. You can also find out about pickup crafts and things like that. If you want to access the web version, the online version of our catalogs, like the digital catalog, click on the catalogs link, and you can find out a whole host of other information through our website. And here we see the library's appointments page. Found on the library's website. Again, the address is ssclibrary.org. And then once you're there, you can click the purple Make Appointment text located near the top of the page, and this page will display. From the appointments page, you can make an appointment for curbside pickup or to use a public computer. You do not have to make an appointment to use a public computer, but we only have 6 of them up and running at the moment because we're keeping everybody socially distanced. So if you want to make sure that there's a computer available for you when you come in, you might want to contact us and make an appointment. StarCat and its companion app, BookMine. StarCat is the catalog of physical library materials, CDs, DVDs, print books, large print books. You can access all of those, or the record I should say, for all of those through StarCat. And it is the catalog for the entire Southern Tier library system, which is terrific because you can place holds for items that are owned by other libraries. So you might get a book from a library in, say, Allegheny County or Chemung County. The Southern Tier library system covers Steuben, Chemung, Yates, Schuyler, and Allegheny counties, or I should more specifically say it covers the libraries within those counties, which is super cool. So yeah, just a little bit of librarian enthusiasm there. The point is, go to starcat.stls.org and you can place holds on books and other materials. You can click My Account towards the top of the page to see what you've got checked out, renew items, etc. or you can download the BookMine app to your mobile device and do the same thing. The digital catalog and its companion apps, Libby and Overdrive. The digital catalog is found online at stls.overdrive.com, and through the digital catalog you can check out eBooks, downloadable audiobooks, a handful of streaming videos, and now magazines available on demand. You can also use the Libby or Overdrive apps on your mobile devices. The Libby app is for newer devices, and the Overdrive app is for older devices and Kindle tablets. Hoopla. The Hoopla catalog features ebooks, comic books, downloadable audiobooks, and streaming videos, including both TV shows and movies. All Hoopla items are available for Southeast Steuben County Library card holders to instantly check out. You can check out 6 items from the Hoopla catalog per month, and the reason it's limited just to Southeast Steuben County Library card holders is because this is a different lending model than the Overdrive digital catalog model, and anything that patrons check out through Hoopla, the library has to pay for. So that's why it's limited to our patrons. You see the Hoopla app at the right of your screen, which you can get through your mobile store. You can also find the Hoopla app on your smart TV app store, because you can indeed download the Hoopla app and watch movies and TV shows from Hoopla right on the TV in your living room. We have 5 library blogs. There's the Book Club for Adults, which gives you information on the monthly adult book club meetings. It's found at SSCLbook.club. The local history blog, Corning NY History, found at corningnyhistory.com. Creation Stationery, the SSCL Makerspace blog, it's found at creationstationery.com. Story Musings, a blog hosted by the library's resident author and head of adult services, Michelle Wells, is found at storymusings.blogspot.com. And Tech and Book Talk is a readers and viewers and listeners advisory blog found at sscltech.com. I host that particular blog, and sometimes I do put in a few tech tips regarding personal technology, but most of the postings are indeed on what to watch or read or listen to. If you have questions about library services during the pandemic, or want to make an appointment for curbside pickup, you are welcome to go the traditional route and simply give us a call. The library's phone number is area code 607-936-3713. Again, that's 607-936-3713. Social media. You can connect with the library, read library news, and pose questions to the library via social media. The library has pages on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. In relation, each video in this series is available on demand via the library's YouTube channel after it has first been shown on Facebook Live. And you will also find this series of videos on the Tech Talk blog. Each Monday is when I post those. And briefly, here are the references of the week. And that's the program for this week. Next week, I'm taking some vacation time, so I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode of Library Connections. Have a great weekend.